So in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to moss a frame. Moss frames are used for numerous items, mostly door wreaths. So you can use them for your Christmas door wreaths, spring door wreaths, summer, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's, like all occasions. Door wreaths are so popular and they're right on trend. And just to prolong the life of the material that you're using in your door wreaths, by using a moss frame, which will absorb up water, it'll keep your material nice and moist and will prolong the life of your door wreath on your door. So I hope you enjoy it. So in this tutorial I want to show you how to moss up a frame. Moss frames have lots of uses. They can be used in flower arranging and they can also be used for making door wreaths for any occasion, not just Christmas, spring door wreaths, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Easter and summer wreaths. So what will you need? First thing is a wire frame. This is a wire frame which you can purchase in a florist or a garden centre, and this measurement one is called 12 inches. It is possible to buy them smaller and larger, and depending on the type of wreath that you're making, you can choose the size yourself. So a 12-inch wire frame. The other item you need is a roll of reel wire. The reel wire would be like a spool of thread, but the wire itself is about a 22 gauge wire. It's quite light, and instead of using the reel wire, you could use a ball of twine instead. To moss up the frame, I need some fresh moss. So here beside me, I have some fresh moss. You could choose to use Leylandii branches or straw instead of moss to do a similar effect, and I will show you that in a later video. So what you do is you get some moss and you squeeze it together nice and tight in your hand, and what you're doing is you're making, the best way to describe this is like a sausage shape. So a nice big fat sausage shape with your moss. Just before that, it's easier if you attach the wire to the wire frame. So you get your roll of reel wire. You have your wire frame, you just insert the wire anywhere of it all and you just give it one or two little twists there and that's it attached. No tying knots, no wrapping it around, just give it one or two twists and that's your wire attached. Rest the wire on the frame, take up your sausage of moss as I would describe it, rest it on the wire ring, get your reel wire, and then what you're going to do is wrap the reel wire around the moss and pull really tight to secure. You then continue wrapping the reel wire around your moss, pulling it nice and tight. The best thing, as I said, is leave it flat on the table, wrap the wire around, lift up and pull tight. So now we're ready to place another bundle. So again, get your moss, squeeze it together in your hand into that sausage shape, nice and firm. Slightly overlap where you have finished. Get your reel wire and again, wrap it around, lift up the frame, pull the wire tight. Leave about a 3 or 4 centimetre gap, wrap it around again, lift up your frame, pull it tight. Leave a 3 or 4 centimetre gap, wrap it around, and that's the technique. So you continue all the way around the frame. So again, getting a nice big sausage of moss again, slightly overlap where you finished, and don't worry too much about one of your pieces of moss maybe being a little bit thicker or thinner than the previous one, it'll still work out. So that's basically the technique. Squeezing the moss, overlapping it onto your base, getting your reel wire and just wrapping it around and pulling it as hard as you can. Now I always prefer to go back around my moss a second time, you know what I mean, just to make it that little bit neater. You'll see that when I get back around to the beginning. So I'm nearly there. I'd say definitely one more and maybe half a bunch, you know what I mean, just to catch it in. Like, try and make your bundles of moss as big as possible because that's going to save you time, especially if you have a lot of them to do. And as I said, this is kind of like dirty work. You can see like the dirt to my hands, but even the dirt to the table. So if you're doing up a moss frame, why not make up 2 or 3 of them at the same time, just to save. So you can see I have a little bit of space here, so I'm just going to get another little bundle of moss. Now the moss I'm working with today is kind of quite dry. But the thing about moss, it's a natural sponge, so it will take up water, you know what I mean, like say again, which I'll show you later on. So I'm just adding in that last little bundle of moss. So I'm around to where I started. So you can see it's quite untidy. So what I'm going to do now is go back around a second time. So I'm not adding on any moss this time. I'm just going around with the reel wire, like, you know what I mean, kind of like throw it into the centre, pull it back out. Throw it into the centre, pull it back out, and just go around your frame. And you can see already the section that I went back over with the wire, that part there, you can see is much tidier than the part that I haven't went over. So that's why I like to go around a second time. As I said, it makes your frame that little bit more secure, and especially if you weren't that strong and you didn't get the moss on really tight the first time, this gives you an extra chance to get it on, you know, that little bit tighter. The more decoration, there won't be a lot of decoration in spring wreaths, but Christmas wreaths there'll be a lot of decoration going on to them. So you need your frame really, really secure. Again, if you find that you're still not confident enough and you found maybe it's still not tight enough, go back around a third time. It's all just practice and experience. So I'm nearly around to where I started. I'd say just 2 or 3 more wraps here. So I'd say about here. I'd say this is where I started the frame because it's just starting to look back tidy again. So you can see the difference in the frame. You see when I went around the second time. So to finish it off, I'm just going to cut the wire here with the scissors. Just cut it off. And the little bit of wire that's left over, I'm just going to bend it over into like a U-bend and insert it back down into the frame, and that's your frame mossed. Now what you can do is you can dip that in water, and as I said, moss is a natural sponge, so it'll absorb up the water. So you can dip that down into a bucket of water for about 60 seconds and take it back out again. And for storing the frames, I would recommend storing them on their side, maybe placing like a sweep brush handle in between the frames and storing them like that, slightly suspended. And that way the air will circulate around them and they last for quite a long time. Best of luck to you. So this is the type of wreath that we teach you how to make on our online school under our spring-summer door wreaths. So go to our website, flowerschoolisland.com, click on the online school, and you will be able to download these step-by-step online tutorials. So this is another example of making a fresh door wreath on a mossed frame, using one of our moss frames which I demonstrated earlier on.